Let's go to our view components, Command N to create a new Swift UI view. And this I'm going to call board indicator view. Okay, so here we are going to show some kind of indicator for our board, so it will go on top of our circles. So the indicator we are going to get is from SF symbols from Apple. So it's going to be like an image. So we need to pass what kind of image we want to show here, okay? Because it may be X, maybe O, or maybe you are using some different symbols. This board indicator view doesn't really care what type of indicator it is. It just says, give me the name of the image and I will show it in my view. So this is what we are going to do. Everything simplified. Each view knows only to do one thing and doesn't really have to know anything else is going on. So we will give it an image view, image name of a string. And then inside our body, here we obviously need to pass for our preview to work. And image name, I'm going to put Apple logo. In body, we don't have to pass anything here. So inside our body, we are going to have an image with a system name of whatever the image name we pass here. So now you should see a small Apple logo there because this is what we do for our preview. So let's make it resizable so we can make it bigger. Now it becomes big. We don't want it this big. So let's give it a frame of width to be 40 and height to be 40. So now we have a square image of Apple logo. Let's change the aspect ratio because it's kind of a little bit crushed. So we will say scale to fit. And then we want to give it some kind of color because we don't want it to be the default black color. I want it to be this indigo color. So let's do that. Foreground color of indigo. And we want it to be able to scale this. And the reason we want to scale it, when I click, you see, first it's a little bit small, then it becomes bigger and settles down. We have some kind of spring animation there. And we are going to do this controlling the scale effect. So to do that, let's create a state private var of scale. And by default, it's going to be 1.5. Okay, so after our foreground color, I will put scale effect. And we're going to pass our scale here, which is by default, it's 1.5. So it makes our view a little bit bigger. And then we want to have some kind of the spring animation for our view here. So we will say dot animation. And we're going to have a spring animation. And the value is going to be our scale. So every time this scale changes, we will have a spring animation. Let's put also some shadow with radius of 5. And then in order to trigger our animation, we need to have a way to change this scale. So what we're going to do is say on change, and we're going to change off every time our image name is going to be changed. So whenever our user clicks on a circle, we change the image name because initially we have no image here. And when we click, depending it was a user 1 or a user 2, the player 1 or player 2, we are going to send the image name X or O. So whenever we send this name, we want to also trigger the animation. So I will, on change of image name, we want to perform, and then we're getting the new value that was set to our image name. We don't really care about whatever the value is. It can be X, O, or whatever else you may send. We just want here to change the scale effect. So we say self dot scale is equals to 2.5. So first we make it bigger, okay? Then after a few seconds, we want to bring it back to 1.5, the initial value. So it just jumps bigger and then settles down smaller. This is our animation. So let's give it some delay, because we don't want the exactly same second we bring it back, and then the user will not see any animation going on. So we need some kind of small delay here. We can use dispatch q dot main dot async after, and then we have this deadline. The deadline will be now, and we add 0.1 second, and we are going to execute, just get rid of this part, execute, and we put our curly braces, and we're going to write what will happen after 1 second. Okay, and what we want to happen is we say self dot scale is equals back to 1.5. So every time the name is set, we will have tiny animation. We change the scale, which on its turn will trigger a spring animation there. So this is all our board indicator view should know. It knows how to present some kind of image. We're passing the name, and then every time the name is passed, it will just have a simple animation of springy, goes bigger and then settles down smaller and stays there as it is. So we can go back to our game view, and now we can call this and show it on top of our circle instead of this text here. So I will say board circle view, not circle, board indicator view, and we need to pass the image name. Now obviously during our game the image name is going to be dynamic, so we are going to get whatever our view model sends, but for now let's just pass Apple logo. You can see it, we also saw the animation that when we set it right there again. So this is how our items will look. Obviously at the beginning we are not going to pass any name because they should be empty, and then the user will click and change the value of our image name, and we will present whatever the image name is.